for the flow that I'm going to show you. You're going to maintain this posture throughout all of the different movements in the flow. So first things first is feet are going to be hip distance apart. I want you to have a nice flexion of the knee. That means a nice bend in the knee, okay? So I want you to have a look down and basically want you to have your kneecap over your second toe. And I'll show you that from the side, okay? So hip distance apart, flexion in the knees, kneecap is going to be over your second toe. Okay, working it up from this position, we're going to bring it up. So we want to create a nice long torso so that the pressure can lift those organs up, okay? So what I'm going to do is lift the ribs away from the pelvis. You want those to move as far away as possible without sucking in your stomach. So just lifting up the rib cage. Next thing, you want to widen the rib cage. You want to have that out as wide as possible so you get that nice little dip or cavity in the ribs. To do that, a good tip is to flare out or widen those shoulder blades, okay? The next thing we're going to do then is we want to have a really long, elongated spine because that's what helps to decompress the spine. So a good tip is to imagine somebody is pushing down on the crown of your head. So this is imaginary, but imagine somebody is pushing down and you're pushing away from them, okay? We like to call this growing. So we're growing up towards the ceiling. At the same time, you're pushing your heels into the floor. So you're like pulling and elongating out that spine. Okay, so again, feet hip distance apart, knees nice and soft. You're going to really lengthen out and create that really nice long space between your pelvis and your ribs. You're going to bring out those ribs nice and wide, and you're going to grow. Okay? So we're going to do that through all the movements of the flow that I'm going to show you. And now we're going to go into our breathing technique.
Okay, so now we're going to go through the breath pattern. You're going to maintain this breath throughout the whole flow. As we inhale, we're going to go through your nose and into the lower ribs first. And then as you exhale through the mouth, I want you to make a ha sound as if you're fogging a mirror. So as we inhale, I want you to imagine you're filling a glass of water. So you're going to inhale to the lower ribs, the middle ribs, up into the upper ribs. As you exhale, we're going to go the way down. So top, middle to bottom. As you continue to inhale, make sure that you're inhaling into your ribs only. And we're elongating the spine and growing to the top of your crown of your head on each exhale. So again, we're making sure there is no belly breathing here. So you can see from the side, as I inhale into the ribs only, not into my belly. So there's no movement in my belly. As you exhale, again, you should see a little bit more movement where the belly kind of sucks in a little bit. But again, it is maintained through my ribs. So apnea is an empty lung breath hold, and this creates a vacuum in the abdominal muscle. This is where we get a ton of spinal decompression and pelvic organ elevation. So we're going to inhale like I did before, ribs open nice and wide, and then we're going to exhale out through the mouth, elongating through the crown of the head. And once lungs are completely empty, I'm going to close mouth, nose and throat, hold my breath, and then try and open the rib cage again. So you see there's a nice hollowing of the belly up to the ribs, and you'll also see these little holes pop out in the neck. That's creating a true vacuum. Now, let's see this from a side. So here is a side view of apnea. Inhale through the nose, keep ribs really wide, keep them wide. As we exhale through the mouth, elongate through the spine. Once lungs are completely empty, we're going to close mouth, nose and throat, hold breath, and then try and open the ribs again. So you can see a nice hollowing of the belly and maintain neutral spine position.